Hello.
Welcome, everybody. We got a bunch of people in the chat already. Let me go back up here. We got Garden Rod. Hi, Josh. How's the goat babies? Rebecca is here, of course. She's also in person, as usual, hiding behind the camera. Lewis, welcome, Lewis. I saw Lewis's video this morning. He did his Shed Wars introductory video. So Lewis is in for the draft for Shed Wars. He has an amazing garden for what he's doing. You need to watch it, Yossi. He's got tons of trees that he's growing inside in buckets.
Well, speaking of schedule, I need to talk to Robert or John because I gonna enter my second challenge to
Okay.
be separate. Like the cooking channel is gonna be separate from the gardening channel.
Yes. That's cool. Well, you talk about Robert or John, and they will show up in the chat.
Yeah, I hope so.
Just say their names like 3 times, like Beetlejuice, and they're right there.
Try with Beetlejuice. Never could.
Never did. You never got.
No. Maybe it's because I'm in Israel.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It doesn't translate through the desert. I don't know. But yeah, you just say Homestead Aquarius, Homestead Aquarius, Homestead Aquarius, and he'll be here in the chat. Or will it grow? Will it grow? Will it grow? He'll be in the chat. But today we have with us Crystal and Lonnie, and they are from Xtreme Adventures. And I'm going to have Becca throw their channel link in the bottom. How long have you guys been on YouTube?
About 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months.
And Lonnie has another channel?
Yeah, he had it before we ever met.
Yeah, that one there's about, I guess it's 5 years or 6 years old, but it's just basically a lot of
Jeep
repairs, mechanical stuff. That's kind of my background is just in maintenance and mechanical stuff. So It's kind of geared towards that.
You're talking Rebecca's language now because Rebecca is a Jeep junkie.
Oh, yeah.
She loves Jeeps.
I'm pretty extreme in the Jeep stuff, so.
Tell her to check out Jeep Xtreme because we have a neon green
Jeep. Well, not everybody's into that, but I like my lime green.
She wants a Gladiator. I really want a Gladiator.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So your new channel, you did something really cool on your new channel, and that's what got my attention. Crystal's in Rebel Canners on YouTube. What did you do, Crystal, that got my attention?
I ate a 45-year-old pickle.
Yeah, dill pickle.
Yeah.
When was it? When was it canned? Sorry.
His mother.
Yeah, my mom canned it before I was even conceived. So we had them sitting in there and everything for a long time. And, my dad would make comments about it and everything. And then finally I was just like, you know what? And then I kind of mentioned it jokingly because there's no way I was going to do it. And then she did it. Of course, with my reaction, you can kind of tell that I was like, you're crazy. But yeah. So.
And then on the chat that we put on Facebook in the Rebel Canners thing, people were saying dehydrate it. Try it as a popcorn salt. So we did that. It was better that way.
Awesome. Yeah, pickles get mushy. They don't have a real long shelf life. They get pretty.
The weird thing is when I was pulling it out of the jar in the first video, you thought that they were really mushy, but when I was pulling them out to dehydrate them, they were just the outer little bit of layer where the skins was mushy. The rest of the thing was that they were solid.
Nice. Yeah, with the vinegar, they should have been more than safe. I wouldn't have been too worried about that either. I probably wouldn't have eaten it just because of the mush factor. I'm not into the slimy mush kind of thing. But as far as safety, they're safe.
I wouldn't do it again either.
I'm going to show just a little bit of that video, if I may.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share it here. I figured out how. This is my first time sharing my screen. So I'm just going to play just a few minutes so you guys can get a maybe play.
Yeah, there it goes.
It was done in August of 1976. I have
Look,
6
this Kansas
jars.
blue.
Yep.
Look at that.
And there's even one that's awesome and square.
What is that?
It's a
I
all
don't know that we can get it on.
perfect mason.
I was trying to get the ear. So my mom canned these when she was pregnant with me. And I am 35 years old. So my mom canned these when she was pregnant. I'm almost. Yeah. 45.
These may have been done before
They may have been done before.
August of 1976.
Like right before. So
And there's this awesome quart one that's got slices in it. Not one of them are cloudy.
one of them though that you tried to open.
I touched this and it was so rusted it was gone.
Went through it.
But we're gonna
try it.
She's gonna try it.
I see the seal. It's got a good seal.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Quart one. It's got slices in it.
I'm just still on it. Well, because I'm on the wrong one. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry. That was my first time trying to do that. Oh, where is... We got a bot. There we go. Got rid of it. So, welcome, Tiny Tim, for coming in. So if you want to see the rest of that video, you're going to have to go to the link we put in and watch Crystal's reaction and Lonnie's reaction to Crystal's reaction when she ate one of those. So I'm not going to show that. You'll have to go see. They're at 46 subscribers right now, and I know we can help them get to way more than that. So I want to see how many subscribers you guys have tomorrow after this video comes out. Because I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people in here that are going to want to go over there and see how you reacted to eating that pickle.
And then the next video is me making salt or powder out of the pickles. And I even shared some of the stuff that I'd canned.
I put that dill pickle powder on kale chips. I don't like the kale chips anyway. And I've also put it on zucchini chips, which are much better.
Oh wow. That sounds good.
I just subscribed.
What, you'll
Sorry.
have to
I
subscribe.
just subscribed.
So you're at least at 47 now.
Awesome.
48. All right. Good job. I'm sure there's more people coming in. So.
Are you guys cold where you're at? You get snow?
We got 6 inches yesterday. No school.
Wow. Yeah, we got some down here in Arkansas. More ice.
Which part of Arkansas are you in? The northern or the southern?
Northwest. Yeah, right in the Walmart capital.
Okay. My husband's from Stone County.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Benton County is where we're at. Kind of on the edge of everything's kind of growing to us, and we're kind of we have a shop house. That's kind of why we're in this car right now, taking this video, doing this live thing, because the shop doesn't like to let signal through. But we got a shop house, and we're kind of on the edge of town, and everything's just kind of pushing into us. So that's why we plan on going off grid in a year and a half. We bought some property up north in Willow Springs, Missouri, and we're just now getting ready to start building our cabin. and small cabins, just a little 16 or was it 12 by 16, and just live strictly, completely off grid. It's been kind of a dream of mine, and because I'm a farm boy and I've always been just kind of out on the edges, and she loves it too. So that's a super win-win because I'm trying to get away from the hustle and bustle and just live life simple. So
I have a 16 by 16 cabin. It's 2 stories.
Yeah.
I just put in a home comfort wood stove, but I'm missing a part. It's the only reason I'm staying here at Becca's for the winter. I just
really?
sold my house in town and I'm off grid. There's no
Oh, wow.
electricity to it, nothing.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And it doesn't even get internet out there. So I'm going to have,
Yeah.
yep. I'm going to have to
Yeah, that's
come
gonna
into town to get internet.
I did my first garden this last year, and I plan to put more in this year. So I'm going to be building a garden here in Arkansas. But the plan is when we move to Missouri, I'm going to have to redo it and do a whole new garden.
Yeah. Yep. Well, do containers so you can take some of the perennials with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Lonnie
Or
has
start-
elephant ears.
Yeah. I like here. The Missouri though is pretty rocky where we're at. We got some decent spots in there. But we're it's a completely unrestricted 11 acres, so we can pretty much do whatever we want.
Nice.
Middle of the woods, so it's really nice. We spent a while looking around trying to find the right place. And of course, around the Northwest Arkansas area, land's so expensive over here, and
Or they had restrictions.
or they had a lot of restrictions.
Yeah.
So we were basically forced to go up there, but it's a pretty area. So we'll be doing all that. That will be on this channel as far as and it'll be a lot of everyday, a lot of batteries of every day, just filming and going from one place to next. Because basically that will be part of our everyday life job. So
Yeah, I want to get,
Nice.
and I want to get a milk.
it's a lot of people think that they want to live off grid and everything until they do it, and then they're like, well, it's a wake-up call, because they actually, it's work. It's work to survive.
Oh, yeah.
And but the cool thing about it is you're working for yourself.
Yes.
And that's awesome whenever you can do that. I've been working for people for a few years now.
Yeah.
It'll be
This is-
nice.
My place has been my retirement goal. I want to retire out there. I finally got the stove. It's just been a little bit every year of improvements,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it isn't easy hauling your own water for
No.
everything.
No.
Gardening, everything.
Nope, it is not. We've got a lot of I've got a lot of know-how as far as building stuff, and that's what I do kind of for a living. I'm an engineer, so I kind of put things together and build things. And so the off-grid with the battery backup generators and stoves and all that, living in a shop house that I built, and I made it livable. Of course, most people would look at that and go, man, it's kind of more of a bachelor pad type of thing, but
Hey, it fits both of us.
I've even got a full-size tree in my house holding the deck. So
Nice.
in the shop house, but it's around here the land's gotten so high, and I have a shop in 4 acres out here, and I'm surrounded by these big houses now, and I'm and it's closing me in, and so my idea is to rent that out, and then as part of my supplement income to
Perfect.
go there.
That's a perfect plan.
Yep.
As long as you get the right renter that takes care of it.
Oh yeah. Yep. I've rented before, so it's definitely a hunt.
Yeah, you got to hunt for the right person to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pray
just
after
wanna-
that.
Yeah. I want to say hi to a couple people that have come in. Teasers, pleasers. She also does a canning channel. She's a rebel canner. Pigskin Blitz and P Ranch. Good morning, everybody. I am talking right now with Xtreme Adventures with Crystal and Lonnie, and I think if you missed the first part of this video, you're going to have to go to their channel. The link is in the link, as Courtney says, and go to their channel. They just ate pickles that were canned in August of 1976. And if you want to see their reaction and how they tasted, you'll have to go check out their channel. So we're just talking. Their channel's evolving. It's very new. If you could all go and subscribe to them, I'd really appreciate it. They started out with 46, and I know that last time we looked, they had 48. But they're doing some canning, some adventuring, and some off-grid building. So you guys would really, I think, like it if you went and checked them out.
We even have one video where we're fishing and Lonnie falls down
Oh,
because the rocks were so slippery.
So sweet. And then they have another channel that is about Jeeps. I don't know if you've got.
I didn't get the other one.
Yeah, we'll put that link to that one too if Becca can find it. She's my behind the scenes person. But we're just here today with them, talking about them. I thought it was really interesting. I found them on my Facebook group. And I thought it was really interesting that they were checking out those pickles. I looked up your Dre Mason jar that you show in your picture.
Yeah.
And that mason jar is older than 1925.
Are you? Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's worth between $8 and $16.
Oh
So-
wow.
So I put that one up on the shelf and take care of it. That's empty. I don't know how much more it's worth with Mom's pickles, but it's empty. It's worth about $8 to $16.
Huh. That's awesome.
I had never heard of a Dre before. I hadn't seen it. What is the name of your other channel?
So it's Deep Extreme with an X, like the Xtreme
Yeah.
Adventures. But if you type in Comanche bobbed bed, you'll see my first video ever. That's the easiest way to find me, I guess. It's like my first video. It's kind of weird. It was a Jeep I built. And then you'll go from there. But it's Comanche, Comanche, bobbed, BOBBED, bed, BED.
Becca's pulling it up. We'll get that one linked too. So if anybody is into that, they can go. We get a lot of people in our channel that are into all sorts of things. So not just canning food.
I mean, there's a little bit of everything on our channels. I mean, we did some reviews on some bows on his channel, and some releases and heaters.
I'm like really tall, so
Yeah, I found it.
strong.
I found it and didn't even have to type in the other stuff.
Oh, there you go.
So we'll get that one linked here in the chat. Hi, Shift Kicker. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. LJT Mini Homestead. Thank you for coming in too. We are talking today with Crystal and Lonnie from Xtreme Adventures. They've been taste testing really old dill pickles. I just think that's really cool. I wish I had some of my mother's canned food from when I was little, because
especially the canned salmon.
we've talked about it. If I had a jar of my mother's canned salmon, I would eat that right now in front of you.
Yossi, don't start. I don't want to hear about it all day.
Well,
No.
see,
I know. I'll be right back. I know the problem. Talk to Becca for a second. I know Becca's problem.
There's this one house we drive by all the time to go to the grocery store. And she's like, you know, my dad built that house, right? And I'm like, no, never heard that before in my life. So it's kind of the ongoing joke.
Uh,
Problem Becca has with the canned salmon is there's 27 cans of whiting and pollock sitting out on her counter that I haven't wiped down and put in the basement. That's the problem she has with me talking about the canned salmon.
And it stinks. I mean, it doesn't smell bad. Just being pregnant, it stinks to me.
Yeah.
Well, Lonnie would definitely eat that. I can't. But
Oh, we got the vineyard chicks in here. We've got Bunky's Garden and Try Designs. Welcome, welcome, ladies. I don't know if you're familiar with the vineyard chicks. They are 3 young ladies, ranging in age from their teens down, and they have 4 channels, and they are amazing. Very amazing. They have a tech channel, which is Try Designs, Bunky's Garden, which is a gardening channel. I can't remember the other one. And then the Vineyard Chicks. So they each have their own channel. Oh, the girl that does the singing, and oh, forgive me. But anyway, they all have 3. They each have their own channel, and then they have the Vineyard Chicks. And if you haven't checked them out, they're a great channel. They also did Shed Wars. Are you familiar with Shed Wars?
No.
Shed Wars, I found it last year, and a lot of the people in here are joining it or enjoy watching it. It's a how-to gardening collaboration. And Yossi was talking about it before we came on, I think. Joyful Nose and Notes. Thank you. Yes, KK has Joyful Nose and Notes. Shed Wars is a gardening collaboration. It is run by Will It Grow and Homestead Aquarius, those 2 channels. And I am joining this year and going to garden for the first time in quite a while. I have a permaculture food forest. I don't really garden. I like perennials. I'm lazy. I want to grow perennials, plant them once, eat off of them every time after that. Maybe water them a little bit. Maybe.
And I live in Israel in a concrete apartment, and I'm gonna garden for the first time in buckets. So I'm gonna enter also the shadow thing.
There you go.
So it's hashtag Shed Wars 22. So if you Google that or search that on YouTube, you'll find all sorts of people gardening and teaching people how to
You can
garden.
start with 21 and see all the past year videos.
So,
Yeah.
and it might be something that you'd want to do in a future year too with your channel.
Yep.
It really helps your channel grow.
last year, I put my very first garden out. I had squash and zucchini and cucumbers. It was all squished together in this little bitty garden. And I didn't know what a squash bug was.
Oh,
Yeah, we found out.
Wiped the whole garden practically out.
Oh no.
Things are relentless, man.
Oh,
What is the thing? Do you guys know what the best thing is to
Kill those things?
kill them? I mean, we used like Sevens dust, the liquid, and they still came back. And I've heard that you can put mats down, and they'll get under them, and then you can obliterate them like with heat or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure
there
it's
is-
something. Go ahead.
I think
Yossi.
it's a type of herb that you can plant between your stuff, and this is acting like a repellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some things. I know somebody injected something right into their vine that then killed the bugs, but I thought that was a little extreme. I don't know if I would.
I know
try
that Courtney used like something with garlic and spray with garlic and stuff.
Neem oil.
Oh yeah. I heard something
Neem
about.
oil. But the thing also is, I raise bees, so I have to be really careful. I don't put anything on my garden that will kill the bees. So I have honeybees.
My buddy had bees last year, and
They're still there.
they're still there, but we
kind of inherited them.
we kind of inherited them.
That is a wonderful thing to inherit.
Yeah,
Except
this
for-
is
we
so
don't know how to
they.
take
Excuse me, I still a little bit hangover from yesterday for celebrating Garden Josh's birthday. So bees are very expensive, so it's very good to have them.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
thank you, Shift Kicker. He says to show me some love and hit that thumbs up and ring the bell. And Laura from Hedgehog Homestead has kind of snuck in here. She says you have to be very consistent with your pest control. And then we also have Giggles Prep in here. Thank you for coming in, Giggles. And Tiny Jim Posey, I think I said hi, but I'm not sure how far back up I got. So I'm
You
just
did.
kind of looking here. But yeah, last night, there's another channel that we're really good friends with, Wide Family Farm, and A Fishes and Loaves Life. And they were helping celebrate Gardner Josh's birthday. It was his 45th birthday last night. So they had a live last night about that. So, but there's some really good channels in here. If you guys have not subscribed, we want to see how far we can get Xtreme Adventures up. They were at 46 when we started. So I suggest we all go over there and help them out. They've only been a channel for 9 months. And they've got some really interesting, different content. And they're about
They have 50 now.
They have 50 now? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We love everybody's support.
I didn't hear that.
We love everybody's support.
Oh.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of people on Facebook that was making comments, and it amazed me how people just commented and were really nice and not rude. I was expecting a bunch of people to be rude. Why would you try a 45-year-old pickle? Or
That would be me. That I would say that. Why in the world would you try a 45-year-old pickle?
Because you can. Why
You
not?
can.
Well,
Why not?
I'm
you
just.
only live once.
but
Yeah.
sometimes is know what you say. It's how you say it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, I probably would have thought twice if it was like green beans or corn or something like that.
It's in vinegar. It's pickled in vinegar.
Right.
It's high acid. It's fine.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't be eating 46-year-old corn either.
Oh,
I'm just not brave, okay? I'm just not brave.
well,
I had somebody's grandma's jelly that I don't know how old it was, but it was more than 30 years old, and I had that. It still had the wax on it. Let's put it that way. It was canned with wax, and I still ate it.
there is a YouTube channel. It's an Emery YouTube channel, and he eat like very old Emery, 70 plus year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just auctioned off a piece of wedding cake from, I think it was the queen, the current queen of England. They just auctioned off a piece of her wedding cake, and it was how many years old?
Like
And,
in the
yeah.
box or
Like petrified cake.
oh,
People were eating that.
Ew,
Yeah,
I think I could do that.
yeah. They bought it. They wanted to try it. I don't know. I mean, and that sunken ship. There was a sunken ship they just found where the river had moved and it had covered
I
over
hope
the
so.
ship. And they took out canned goods out of there and ate them. And they were almost 100 years old.
Wow.
And that was a river ship that went down, and they were sealed with wax. They weren't even canned. They were sealed with wax, and people were eating those, and they did fine.
Hmm.
You know, I think people get really hung up on that whole thing more than because somebody's told them they're supposed to.
well, Giggle asked me a question, and I hope very soon. I have been experimenting, and I did like the Pita Bread.
Can you put
So-
the channel link in again?
That's gonna be my next video.
Ooh,
This is a Pita Bread.
Huh.
nice.
Now, I've
See
heard
it?
make that with potatoes.
What?
I heard that people have potato.
Yes.
I've seen it made with sweet potatoes too.
Huh. I think the next thing we want to do, look into is we haven't done yet is canning meat. As far as like deer and different things like that, because that's kind of it's very abundant where we're going to,
So we
and
can preserve our food.
so we can preserve the food.
I grew up on canned venison.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah.
I
My
told them
dad.
I wanted to try meatloaf and then the ground with broth and then chunks so that you can make like a stew.
Yeah. The thing with venison is it doesn't have very much fat, so it gets kind of dry. You if you're gonna grind it, you might want to grind it with just a little like pork butt that has some fat in it.
Yeah.
And that so it isn't quite so dry when you can it. That's what my mom would do a lot of.
When I used to make venison burgers, I don't anymore because it's not very popular here. It's very expensive, but it's kosher. And I used to mix it with the lamb fat.
Yes, that would work just as well. Yeah. You just have to put a little bit with it, otherwise it doesn't turn out very well because it's too dry.
I tried making summer sausage and I added quite a bit of pork fat to it, and it's very fatty.
Yeah, you have to. There's a balance.
Yeah.
Like if you're canning turkey, can you like something like that? I mean, do you have to add fat to that, or is that?
No, because it's really fatty, especially if you leave some of the skin in the jar.
All right.
Yeah.
I've watched
The turkey usually is more fatty from base like chicken.
Yeah.
The turkey is have more fat than chicken.
Yeah.
In fact, if you do duck, you kind of want to be careful because duck is super fatty. You have to kind of take the fat out. That's the one meat I do take the fat out of because it's
Even
too fatty.
geese.
Yeah.
Even geese.
They have never
canned chicken. If you're not used to canned chicken, it has a terrible smell.
Oh.
Like you can it and then you let it set for a while. The first time you open a can of canned chicken, if you don't know that it smells like that, it's got quite an odor that you're not used to.
Is it sort of like the canned chicken you get from the store? It has a different smell than normal.
Yes, it does. It doesn't smell as bad as the store, but yes, it has that same kind of odor. Oh. Sorry about that. She was looking for her mama. Yeah, Louis, I make turkey soup. I just made a mixed broth soup too. I make a lot of soup starters. So I used leftover bones and made soup this week.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do a video though. When my mom would can venison, there'd be nothing left but the hooves, the hide, and that would be it. She would even take the bones and boil them and make soup.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember my grandma, she would pickle cow's tongue.
Yes. Yes.
That was delicious.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Well, countdown based to another part of the cow. It's very tender after you cook it properly.
It was delicious.
My mom would pressure cook it because you can use your pressure canner to pressure cook, you know.
Yeah.
So she would pressure cook it, and then she would let it cool, peel it, slice it, and then she'd make sandwiches with mustard, and those were really, really good. Back in the days before you could really buy lunch meat, that was lunch meat for people back in the 30s and 40s. That's what they had for lunch meat.
My grandfather's sister made some really good okra. I wish she would have passed her recipe down because it was delicious. She died in 2019, and I still had a jar in my refrigerator when me and him got together. And I'm pretty sure we finished it off.
Yeah. I finished it off pretty quick. I love okra. Okra's, I just love it. I mean, I like it fried. I like it fried. I like it in soup or whatever.
Yeah, I usually just add it to my soups. I don't eat it because I'm very northern.
Yeah.
Despite the name has nothing to do with geography. I actually live in the north. It's actually a reference to Star Wars. But I lived in the South when I was a child part-time. We were snowbirds. We'd live in Michigan in the summer and we'd live in Florida in the winter.
Oh,
So I got introduced to okra half of the year, but we just don't have it up here like they do down south.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Thanks.
grows in the hottest climate. I mean, when it's the hottest outside, that stuff just goes boom. And you can forget it if it's a little cold out. And then as soon as that cold snap hits, it just dies out quick. But well, I mean, I've had okra plants the size of probably a good 6 inches in diameter. Just massive.
Yeah, this last year we had some that were that big around, but they wouldn't produce.
Yeah, we had some that wouldn't produce this last year.
They were huge, but the stalks were huge, but they would never produce.
so okra need heat.
Yes, they probably do well where you're at, Yossi.
Yeah,
My
I
mom,
think I have some in the way.
They're awesome.
Yes, okra in gumbo is really good. I've heard that. And you can also use it as a thickener. for
Yes.
food.
Yep.
So, yeah. Life with Belinda and Chuck say a few okra plants go a long way.
Yeah, they do.
Kind of like zucchini.
Yeah, like zucchini. I think zucchini is our okra up here.
Yeah.
We have people who randomly just drop zucchini on people's porches and run. Don't leave your cars unlocked in the summer in Michigan. You may find that somebody has left a zucchini in your car when you come back. It's like you can't give that stuff away. You have to find somebody to take it, or you have to just like randomly give it to strangers.
No, it was like my dad. But my dad gave us acorns. Was it acorn squash or something like that? They were the big old white-looking, or I think it was
spaghetti.
Spaghetti squash.
I think that, but I think
they're like round and white, and they kind of look like an upside-down mushroom. They're big, and I think they're acorn squash. Anyway, every time I went down to his house, he's like, "You want a squash?" I'm like, no, no, but I was like, I finally was, I was like, I had it, and it's, I just didn't care for that.
You like butternut squash, so it had to have been spaghetti squash.
It's like my grandparents, my grandpa and grandma were from South Dakota, and they grew rhubarb.
Yes.
And they're always growing rhubarb. Every time I go to visit them up there, they'd be like, every morning for breakfast, of course, he was big into, taking care of yourself, eating the right things, and oatmeal. And I like oatmeal kind of raw. He likes oatmeal like wallpaper paste. And he was like, and then you'd go, well, you want straw roux, blueberry roux, this roux? And I'm like, is there not anything different? But that was years and years. They ate the same thing, and of course it's a different culture too, with the elderly, like you were saying, it's preserving every piece of everything you grow, of everything that you hunt, and making, utilizing everything is just, that's forgotten. People don't do that anymore. They buy something out of the box, and then half of it goes to waste, or a plate ends up being half eaten, and it's just sad.
Yeah, my parents lived through the Depression. Those half-eaten plates got put back in the refrigerator, and that was your breakfast. There was no just throwing it in the waste basket. And And my mom didn't make you take it, but if you took it, you knew you were going to eat it eventually.
Yeah.
It was not being thrown out. If it
Yep.
hit your plate, you were
Yep.
responsible for that till it was gone.
My grandma, when we were younger, me and my cousins, we'd go out and we'd take the BB gun or the pellet gun and we'd go out and we'd shoot animals. And grandma, I come in with a snapping turtle I had killed. I was all excited. Grandma goes, it was the first thing I ever killed. And I was wondering why my cousins are like, yeah, go for it, Crystal, go, get it. I get this snapping turtle. I go in there with grandma. And I'm like, hey, Grandma, look, it's my first kill. I did great. She goes, you do know the rules. And I'm like, what? She goes, your cousins didn't tell you? You kill it, you eat it.
That's the way.
I will never eat a snapping turtle again, but I won't kill one either.
They're good. Oh my goodness, they're delicious. There's a reason. There's a way to do it though.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't kill them. You catch them.
Yeah.
Then you give them a 24 hours of fasting where they just have water. They fast for 24 hours to clean their system out. Then you process them and you put them in the pressure canner after you get everything off of them, the outside. Then you put them in the pressure canner and cook them. They're delicious.
Wow, that's awesome.
There's
And the
7
best-
different kinds of meat.
Yes.
Yes.
And the best way to cook them is with pickle juice.
Huh.
Well, we just took all the skin, all of the outer everything, because that's where the salmonella contamination will come from. Take that all off, throw it away, wash your hands, cut up the meat, wash it again, and then you put it in the pressure canner, and it's really good after that.
Well,
Because-
Grandma boiled it, and it was very, very tough and rubbery.
It's not tough in the pressure canner. And then you take it out of the pressure canner and you roll it in flour and egg like fried chicken, and you fry it in lard like fried chicken. My mom took it to my family reunion. My uncle said he wasn't going to have any of that turtle she brought. Okay, she put it on the table. He came through. He got a piece of fried chicken. Said it was the best fried chicken he ever ate. None of us told him that was the turtle.
Yeah. Well, if you want to take out the gamey taste of any animal, you can like marinate it and pickle juice.
If you have gamey venison, you can use tomato juice to marinate it to take it out. Like if they're around here, we have 2 kinds of venison. We have the venison that eats the cornfields, and we have the venison that eats the swamp. If you get venison from a cedar swamp, you know it.
Yeah.
That you have to cook in tomato juice in order to eat it. So when people say they had gamey venison, it's just because it wasn't prepared right.
Yeah.
What was old? I have a delivery coming. I'm trying to, do not eat rhubarb leaves. You can actually use rhubarb leaves to treat mold. It will kill mold, but they are very toxic to people.
I did not know that.
I had a friend whose horse was fed rhubarb leaves, and it was very expensive vet bills.
Oh.
Yeah, it almost killed him. Just a couple leaves almost killed their horse.
Oh.
I had an experience this last summer. I had gotten some seeds given to me, and in there was rhubarb seed. I had no idea you could grow rhubarb from seed.
Huh.
But every one of those seeds came up, and it's better plants than if I'd have planted the rhubarb crown. So I did that in containers last year.
We had some, what was it, poke?
Yeah, poke greens.
Greens. I had that for the first time. She made it for me because I got a bunch that grows out there. And boy, that's some really green stuff. I mean, that's some,
Strong flavor.
you know, spinach is like really good and green, but that is like real green. It's very strong.
I have never tried it, but on my property in my permaculture food forest, it has come up on its own. And everybody's like, "Are you going to take that out? It's poisonous. It's poisonous." I'm like, "No, it's edible. I'm leaving it."
Yeah.
As long as you get the leaves before the plant turns purple, it's not
Okay.
poison. And devein the leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
My grandma, she taught me that when you can always eat weeds. Weeds, you never know what kind of weeds you can eat.
Yeah.
I got a question here, a canning question. Yes, Bunky, you can can grapes. You can can grapes like you put the grapes right in the jar and then put sugar and water, make juice. You can can grapes, just the grapes themselves. They turn out like the ones in fruit cocktail. And then you can also can jelly. And all three taste very different. It's amazing how, but it depends on how much sugar and spices. You can also pickle grapes. So you can also make a pickled grape just like you can pickled fruit.
Interesting.
Sorry.
I want to learn how to pickle eggs.
Oh, that's easy. You just put boiled eggs, peel them, and you put them right in a brine solution, and then you can can them, or they're pretty much shelf stable if you have a high enough vinegar in your brine.
Well, you need to go check out the video.
Yeah, but I don't know if I did a video on that yet or not. But there's a lot
You
of
did about pickled eggs.
Yossi will know. He's been marathon watching all my videos for me. But yeah, there's a lot of different recipes. So you can do mustard pickled eggs, you can do dill pickled eggs, or just a plain pickle. You're going to have to learn how to also, I think I did a video on preserving eggs in lime so that they're shelf stable.
Water glassing.
Water glass, yes. Because that's what I do out at the cabin. I water glass my eggs so I don't have to worry about having a refrigerator out there for them.
But you can't do that with store-bought eggs.
No, they have to have the bloom.
Yeah.
So they have to be fresh from the chicken. You can kind of brush them off a little bit if there's a little bit of something on there you want brushed off. But you need really clean eggs. And they have to be fresh from the chicken that day or the day before.
What is the bloom?
The bloom is a protective coating that is put on the egg by the chicken at the time it lays the egg. When
Okay.
you wash the eggs, you take off the bloom, and then bacteria can cross from outside the shell into the egg because the egg is porous. That bloom allows air to get through, but not germs and bacteria. It's a
Interesting.
protective coating so that the egg can sit for 30 days before the hen starts to hatch it without it rotting. That's why most eggs are good for 30 days anyway on the counter,
Oh,
if they're not refrigerated or store-bought first.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a chicken, you know, they lay about 30 eggs before they start to sit. So that's why you got about 30 days before it starts to go bad anyway. As long as it's a fresh egg, and of course weather has some, you know, in the summer down in Arkansas I wouldn't test that theory out. But here in Michigan,
yeah.
it doesn't get hot enough we have to worry about that in the summer even.
Well, you know, my summer is 100 plus.
Yeah, I wouldn't test that theory for very long out there either, in the desert of Israel. Hi, Marianne Pratt. Thank you for coming in from upstate New York. And thank you, Jennifer, Nebraska, for coming in. And we got Brooklyn's Honeybees. Hi. Arctic Cat has snuck in. We got a few people that have snuck in here. I think I already said hi to Life with Belinda and Chuck. Yeah, I have a video on water glassing eggs.
Yeah.
Somebody here was talking about bear, and I wanted to talk about that for a second. Bear, you need to pressure cook bear before you eat it. Because of the trichinosis, you should not be eating bear unless you've pressure cooked it anyway to kill the trichinosis that they tend to carry. So But bear is really good canned too, and you don't need to add any fat to bear. In fact, if you do harvest a bear, you should save the bear fat. It's very good for a ointment, liniment. It has a lot of health properties, which is kind of weird to say that the other fats don't have.
Yeah.
So,
I know we have black bear up there in Missouri, where I'm from.
yes. Yep. We do here in Michigan too.
We got them here. I mean, just down, kind of over by Hobbs State Park, and out by Beaver Lake area. Big bears, big black bears too. I think one of my friends got a picture of 600 pounds, as close to 600 pounds, had no eye on one side on a trail camera out over here.
Wow, that's a big bear.
It was huge. Biggest bear I've ever seen.
My brother took a 450-pound bear from Canada.
That's a good bear.
That was his last bear he got. That's the only way I get to eat bear, and he's passed away. So.
Oh, sorry.
That's good. Leave the bears alone.
I don't leave them alone. I go visit them every year. I hike the Appalachian Trail, so I'm very familiar with bears.
I'm kidding, because if you know, my icon is a bear with a chef hat.
Yes, Yossi. But you have a polar bear.
Yeah.
You have a polar bear. But yeah, I actually love bears, but you know, I love.
Yeah, I do too. They're really neat.
I like seeing them in the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in? So you're up in the northern part of Michigan, or what? Like.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I watch a YouTube channel up there. Yeah, it's northern part. It's
Surviving Ring.
No, Kyle's Cabin. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle's Cabin. They're both in.
Yeah, they're both in Upper Michigan. Yeah.
The vineyard
got a
chicks
lot
are
of snow,
also from Michigan that were in here.
We're not in the UP though.
We're not in the UP.
Okay.
That's where my brother used to go to hunt, though. My brother had a friend, and they had a hunting cabin. They would go up to the Kingston Plains in the UP. That is where they cut down all the trees to rebuild Chicago after the Great Fire, and it's still leveled. There's no trees where they cut them all down to rebuild Chicago.
And
they shipped them all then to.
I don't know what is there, but here in Israel you cannot take out tree if you don't plant like tree for tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
We do a lot of lumbering here. We have it is a big industry, so they're constantly cutting down trees and then planting more trees too.
Okay.
But it takes a long time for the trees to come back.
Yeah.
I also have a thing on my YouTube channel, because I'm doing the food forest. If anybody donates any money, somewhere in the link is 2 ways to donate to my channel. If anybody donates to my channel, I will plant a tree in their name on my 6 acres. Yes. So far, nobody's took me up on the offer, but I will.
I will.
I will put a plaque with your name on it and plant a tree. But I try to plant several trees every year on my property. Usually something that will grow food, because it's a food forest. Bunky has another question. Can you can cereal? Yes and no. You're not supposed to can grains, but you can vacuum seal cereal in canning jars, and it will keep for a very long time, and it keeps it fresh. So you can vacuum seal it, but you can't really can cereal.
How would you vacuum seal it?
You can either use like a food saver to vacuum seal it, or I use my oven and I put it in canning jars. I put it in the oven on low, about 180 if you have a temperature dial that will go that low on your oven. I bring I have them in a little tray with a thick lip so they don't tip over. Leave them in there for an hour on low. I bring them out of my oven and I immediately put lids and rings on and screw them down. I've pre-boiled and then dried off completely my rings because you don't want any moisture when you're packing dry foods to feel. Put my lids and rings on, set them aside just like you do a canning jar you've taken out of your canner. The heat from that, the change in temperature, will suck the lid down and vacuum seal it.
There is another way. In Amazon, you can buy like the lids with a special valve that you can
that's a
put
food
on the
saver.
pump.
Yep, that's like the food saver. That I've seen people make pumps from bicycle tire pumps.
Yeah.
That they can use too with a food saver attachment. If somebody was really clever and an engineer, they could build one of those.
Yeah.
I don't think we know any of those.
I just do it in the
That was
oven.
sarcastic.
I know.
That was sarcastic.
Maybe Bob. Maybe Bob.
Maybe Bob. Yeah, Bob does a lot of that stuff. Teasers, Pleasers is talking about syrup trees. I planted 7 maple trees last year because I figure that will be enough for me to do maple syrup for myself. So I planted a whole row so that I can just string the maple syrup stuff from tree to tree and then put it down to a bucket where I want to harvest it.
It's enough?
7 will be enough for just me when it's just me, because I only have the one. My one son turned 18 and he's still in school, but I'm sure when he's done with school and goes off to college, he won't be around much. Maybe he might be the one that lives in my basement for the rest of my life. But and then I have my 14-year-old son, so it's just the 3 of us now at home.
Oh, okay.
I don't need a lot. Yes, maple, birch, and walnut trees all make good syrup. There's several trees you can get syrup from. So, that's cute.
What's the name of that? Don't know.
Just know that if you tap your walnut trees, you will not get a good harvest of nuts. If you do get nuts from your walnut trees after you tap them for syrup, they'll be very small. They won't be nice-sized walnuts.
Makes sense.
But if you have a black walnut and you tap it, you don't want those walnuts all over the place necessarily anyway. So a lot of people that have black walnuts tap them just to have less mess in their yard.
Here in Israel, we hit like the pine cone, like the white thing that inside the pine cone.
Pine nuts.
It's very popular. Yeah, it's very popular here.
It's really good at pesto. We use it for pesto here. Pine nuts.
Well, we use it to. I put it in the video that I did from the kebab. We put it like in meat and meatballs and stuff like that.
They could probably grow the pigeon pine down there. I don't know if you have very many pines in the south.
Yeah, we got a few.
But there's just one pine tree that I can grow that I can get pine nuts from in Michigan. There's like 3 or 4 you can grow in southern United States, but that have edible pine nuts.
What's the stuff they call chum or char or something that grows on the side of the tree?
Chaga.
Yeah, I've never had that. Is that good? I mean, is it like a tea or something or what?
I'm not going to say it's good tasting.
Yeah.
Like anything that has a lot of health benefits, it doesn't necessarily taste wonderful. But it has an enormous amount of health benefits, and that does grow on birch trees. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are harvesting it. I used to see it a lot around here, and now I don't see it at all because people, as soon as it comes on the tree, they start chopping it off because it's.
Yeah.
Well, no, they want it. It's very in demand. We can sell it.
I know on the inner site, a lot of people talk about that fire water,
Yes, fire cider.
horseradish root.
Mm-hmm.
You grow it?
Horseradish? Yeah, you grow horseradish. You only harvest horseradish once in your lifetime, and you'll never do it again. Once. You will. I guarantee. I don't know anybody that harvests it more than once and grates it themselves. You almost need a hazmat suit to harvest radish. Do it outside. If you're going to do it outside. And then the other problem with horseradish is you have to harvest it fresh and use it right then, because it loses its potency over time. So when you can it, it's a lot of work, and then you find out 6 months from now it's not as good as it was the day you canned it. So, yeah. But wear goggles, wear protective clothing, do it outside. Yeah, you're only gonna do that once, guaranteed. Very few people.
All recipes asked for horseradish root, and I was just like, well, where do you find this?
Yeah, you can get horseradish root from the store and plant that. I've done that and started my own horseradish. And then you could just, when you need some, you just go out and cut off a little piece off the plant. Arctic Cat says that chaga is an earthy tasting. It can be drank hot or cold and has a lot of health benefits. So,
I have birds out here, so yeah, start looking. I don't have a ton of them, but I've got them. So.
Yeah. Oh, Bob is in the
Hey,
house.
Bob.
Hi, Bob. Somebody, Teasers Pleasers has a video on chaga hot chocolate.
Oh, wow.
So that might make it taste, anything tastes better with chocolate or with bacon, right?
Yeah.
Bunky, they say that it's not approved or not safe to can grains. I do can some grains personally myself because I've had no problem with doing it in small quantities, but it does not hold. They don't hold up. They break down and they kind of get like mushy in cans. Like rice will split and get all mushy. So that's why you can, but I don't necessarily recommend it either.
It's not something you would want to keep long term. If you were going to make like chicken rice soup or something like that, you'd want to eat it within a few months, not like years.
Plus, hey Scully, thanks for coming in. I always love to see him. The other thing is rice is so easy to cook. If you're heating up your soup, you're gonna put your soup on the stove. You're gonna cook it for a few minutes anyway. By the time you throw your rice in there and cook it to heat it up, your rice is done. So there's no point to me to cooking something and having it with rice in there.
Now, if you put rice in soup, be careful because it's so easy to put more than you need to, and then all the water is gone.
And it also takes up a lot of room in jars. And right now, jars are at a premium. You know, you can't find the canning jars. Why would I fill them up with something that I can store dry, smaller, and take up less space? So I could put one canning jar with rice. I don't have to even seal it. Just put a lid on, keep it dry, and keep mice out. It's good for 25 years. Why would I can it in soup and take up extra space in my jar? It just doesn't make sense. Oh, thank you, Scully. Thank you so much. I love it. I love seeing you on my videos that you've done stuff. And I love listening to Scully's videos. If you guys like someone to read to you, like when you were a kid and just enjoy listening to stories, or you're driving somewhere and you want to listen to the author who reads, go check out Scully's House of Thrillers. He does a lot of like Edgar Allan Poe style books that he reads out loud, and it is very. I like to put it on and just, listen when I'm doing other things.
Yeah, it's definitely when you listen to. You don't necessarily watch.
Well, his video graphics are amazing.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like if you're
Yeah.
in the car, it's perfect because
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to watch the graphics to know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's so easy. Arctic Cat's talking about turning 11 pounds of rice into instant rice. Now, when reheating soup, I just toss in a handful. By the time it's heated, the rice is rehydrated. I've done that too. When I make too much rice, I go ahead and put it in the dehydrator, and then I have instant rice. It's so quick. You just throw it in, and by the time your soup is hot to eat, your rice is cooked. But well, we've been on here for over an hour, and I'm sure that Crystal and Lonnie have other plans for their wonderful Saturday. I really appreciate you guys coming in
Well,
and
thank you.
chatting with us.
It's been awesome.
So we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast at an hour here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's 21 people in the chat. This is amazing. Yes, Bob, rub it in. There's always rice cooking at your house. I did not get my lumpia. I was in the basement, and I did not get my lumpia. I was promised lumpia. I want some lumpia, Bob. Bob's wife is from the Philippines and is an amazing cook. And I really want her lumpia recipe, but she's not sharing it. Oh, yes, Pam. We do a live every Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. and every Saturday at 11:30 a.m., both Eastern Standard Time. So I'm sorry you missed it. It's a great show today, only because I have Xtreme Adventures here with me.
And Yossi.
So go check out both of their channels. It's in the chat.
How did she get out of the basement? Well, let's see. The kids decided it was pop time, so they raided the basement.
Yes.
It was the kids.
Bob's basement.
Oh, Bob's basement.
Bob, here's a little known fact about me. I have weird, interesting facts for every occasion. Bob, my third great uncle was the undertaker who took care of Houdini. I've learned all the secrets to getting out of all sorts of things. That is a true fact. My third great uncle embalmed Houdini. And
Wow.
on that note, I'm going to leave and end this broadcast. You guys have a great evening or day, and we will see you sometime between now and Thursday evening.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.